With growing concerns about a legitimate election because of voter fraud,
Every time voter fraud occurs, it cancels out the vote of a lawful citizen.
mail-in voting,
These mail-in ballots do have a higher rejection rate, mostly because voters fail to fill them out properly.
ballot harvesting,
Every ballot. They just take
Every
them from
single
them.
ballot. They knock on the door and say, your ballots, come give it to me, give it to me.
foreign interference,
Iran and Russia have taken specific actions to influence public opinion relating to our elections.
This election seems more complex by the day. Do people worry about the legitimacy of the election? And whether they do or don't, why do they feel that way? And given these concerns, how are people voting?
Are you concerned with the legitimacy of the election?
Absolutely not. The Republican Party are trying to fearmonger so that people don't come out and vote because they know that if a majority of the American people vote, they will lose the election. But some states have only been voting by mail for the last 30, 40 years. Oregon only voted by mail for a while. But to think that millions of votes are going to be affected by mail-in voting is a joke. I already voted by mail. I requested a ballot, I got it in the mail, and then I sent it back with a stamp and with my signed name below.
Yes, there's a lot of influence happening. I heard there was somebody in a post office. They were ripping open ballots. He was allegedly letting the Biden ballots go through, but Trump ballots, he was marking an X on Biden, and then that would technically be tossed out because it's not considered a true or complete ballot. I don't know. I was gonna do a drop-in, but I'm glad I haven't. I think I'm gonna go and do it in person, actually. In person, it's right then and there. You vote, and then you put it in. Done.
I am concerned about the legitimacy of this election because I feel that if people can scare us into not voting, or you're scared that maybe someone might be armed at the polling place, or that the mail may not get there in time, and that your vote may or may not be counted, people might get frightened and decide not to vote. I've always been an absentee voter, a mail-in voter. So this year I went to a drop box and I was able to track my ballot. So I saw that they received my ballot and that it will be counted.
Yes, I dropped my ballot off at the Postal Service post office in Canyon Country 3 weeks ago at this point. I've never felt more secure about mail-in voting, and I've mail-in voted in the last 3 elections. And I have more than the full faith that they deserve to be given. They do an incredible job managing mail-in voting every year when it's not a pandemic. Right now, they've obviously been hit with an inundation of budget cuts. And I've never seen, in all my years working in government, I have never seen an individual take their responsibility as seriously as I've seen a U.S. postal inspector take their responsibility.
So I live in Los Angeles, California, and we have had mail-in voting for many, many years. So I took advantage of mail-in voting here in my city. I am not concerned about the legitimacy of our election. So I do think people have a lot of time on their hands right now, so it may give people the opportunity to practice some voter fraud. But you know what? Like I said, I'm confident that we have things in place that will help, catch people committing voter fraud. Because it's not like this would be the first time that voter fraud has happened. I'm sure it happens every single year, and I think America's gonna be okay.